Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your district.
Sure. My name is Bob Barrett. I'm the recently elected state representative from District 17B, Chisago County. Chisago County includes the cities of Rush City, North Branch, Chisago City, Lindstrom, Wyoming, and Taylors Falls. And it's right north of the metro area. We're more rural than urban, and we like it that way.
And tell me a little bit about your background.
Sure. I work at the Hazelden Foundation right now. I'm Executive Director of Market Research and Marketing Analysis. I've worked there for about 15 years. But my background is in finance and accounting and kind of known as a numbers guy at work. So I provide information for people to help people make their jobs or do their jobs better, both in the marketing area and the sales area, so that we can benefit our patients and our clients.
Well, why did you run for state representative?
Well, I've always had a passion for politics and the public arena in general. In college, I think I would have preferred having a political science major than the accounting major I had, but I think at the time I was much too practical to pick poli-sci, so I picked accounting. So I've always had an interest in what our government does for the people, and I have an interest in helping make that happen and do it maybe a little bit more efficiently, a little bit more effectively for the people of Minnesota.
If you could offer up the first bill of the session, what would it be?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if it'd be the first bill because it would be a little bit more complicated, but funding equity. I think funding equity in Minnesota for our schools is a very critical issue, especially for the schools of my district, both in North Branch, which went to a 4-day school week, and also Rush City, who have recently had a levy failed in their town, and also in Chisago Lake School District. So that's an area where we just don't get enough money compared to other school districts in the state, and it really is leading to a lot of budget cuts that, and our kids, the end result is our kids aren't getting the education that they should be getting from their schools.
When the end of session finally rolls around in May, what will determine whether or not you have been a successful legislator?
Well, I'd like to be part of a team that does good by the people of Minnesota. I think the team aspect is something I'm really very interested in and really agree with. I was a state champion football player in high school. Our team won the state championship when I grew up in South Dakota. So I understand the role of each member of a team. And by the team, I mean the whole body of the legislature, including the executive branch. We as a team need to do well by the people. We have a $6.2 billion budget deficit that needs to be corrected. We need to have government live within its means. Right now we're not. We've had these chronic budget deficits each year for the past 3, 4, and 5 years, and they really should stop so that we can get on with the business of governing the state of Minnesota. I'm the treasurer of my church, and what I've kind of joked around at church, when the treasurer is more vocal at church than the pastor is, you know there are problems with the church because there usually are money problems. Well, when in government, when you're talking about budget each year, you know that's symptom, I believe, of a chronic problem that needs to be fixed. So I would like to be a part of a bigger team that corrects this problem, the budget deficit, does it in a responsible way, and knowing that there will be most likely cuts which will hurt people, but we have to do it in a way that really does well by the majority of the people in our state.
If you could sit down and have a conversation with anyone, living or deceased, who would it be and what would you talk about?
Well, that's a great question. I would say Abraham Lincoln. I know Abraham Lincoln, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln is on the house, in the House chamber. And I've read a few books on Abraham Lincoln, including a book by Doris Kearns Goodwin, Team of Rivals. And in reading that, I find him to be such a thought-provoking person. He has so much intellect and intelligence about so many things, and he was here in our country at the right time, where our country is breaking apart, and he was able to bring it back together. So I would just like to talk to him and just try to understand him more, because you can read so much in a book, but you really don't get the feel of someone unless you're talking to them and really asking the second and third question about why he thought this way or why he did that. And I just think it would be a very interesting conversation. I think he would probably do 99% of the talking, and I would just sit there and listen.
I've reached the end of my questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about, or maybe something that you would like to add?
Sure. I just look forward to representing the people of Chisago County. I really, the people I've talked to have a lot of interest in the legislature and what we're doing here in the next year. We talked about different issues that I would bring up. Funding equity certainly is one. Green Acres would be another bill that people are really interested in, and they expect me to go down to the Capitol and help them solve the problems, including Green Acres and a lot of other issues related to taxing and regulation and school funding. So I'm just excited to be here, and I look forward to a really, really good session.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sitting and talking with us.
Thank you very much.